Hey, this is Matthew.
And this is Andrea.
And welcome back to Nerd News today, and it's time for another statue review.
From Diamond Select, from their DC Gallery line, we have Supergirl.
That's right, this is one of their PVC figure dioramas. We've looked at a lot of these lately, and now we're doing a few more DC ones.
Which is pretty nice. You know, it's good to get into the other side.
Yeah, so you can see the front of the packaging here. It's got a nice big window to get us a nice big look at our Supergirl. And I like the colors. It's just super family colors.
Oh, yeah. I really like it, though. I mean, you really know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, it just stands out. It's like, BAM! In your face.
Yeah, they usually do that with pretty much any of the statues they do. Is it's like they find the iconic colors that match the character.
That's something I've always really appreciated of the gallery line.
Yeah, and it just looks extra good because it's the colors that matter here. It's the blue next to the yellow next to the red, and these three colors together are just very striking.
Yeah.
So the front, you have the big window, same with both sides, and of course, the Diamond Select sunroof. Because you need to know what the top of her head looks like.
Absolutely.
Just certain customers need to know.
Well, yeah.
And on the back, we've got ourselves a nice big old bio.
Yeah, we've complained about the bios in the past. You know, we've said that they're either really short or they're not exactly accurate or really weirdly worded. In this case, it's a pretty respectable bio. Short and sweet, but still gives you all the information you need to know. And as always, it says it's designed by Caesar, sculpted by James Marsano.
And so you see once again, like we saw with the Flash statue, we've got an image of the statue here in the back, right next to a comic version of her. And so what's interesting about this Supergirl is I think this is from like the 2005 era, when she had this whole midriff thing, whereas the picture here is more like New 52 Supergirl.
Yeah, to be honest, it kind of reminds me, just because of the way that the art is, it kind of reminds me of the TV show a little bit more.
Yeah.
It has a bit of a Melissa Benoist vibe to it, which always love. I don't really know, as I said with the Flash, I don't really know the comics that well, but I know the show, and I know the shows, and they're really good, and so I'm a fan.
Well, one thing we do know is what makes a good statue, so I think it's time for us to take Supergirl out of here and give you guys a look at it from all angles.
Let's go!
And we're back, and here is our Supergirl out of the packaging. So as we mentioned, this is a Supergirl based on her appearance in the mid-2000s to end of the 2000s comic where she had this exposed midriff. Nowadays, she doesn't do that anymore. Now she's got more of a full-bodied suit that covers up all that stuff. I think this is more because they're doing this because they may not have done this style of her previously.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, like on that same note, I'm just, like I said, I imagine they probably are making it this way because they hadn't done her previously in this costume. They're just trying to complete all the outfits, perhaps. Does it age the best in that regard? I mean, not necessarily.
No. I mean, I don't mind it, but at the same time, I'm just like,
It was a product of its times, basically, and then we're getting it now, 15 years later, basically.
Yeah, I can accept that. Like, I really can. It's just,
It's no Power Girl with her boob window, right? So
you gotta love that boob window.
You do. So let's talk about that face on our Supergirl here. So this is, again, kind of based on, like, the covers that Michael Turner did. The comic had, of course, many different artists, but it was more of, this is like a teenage, young adult kind of face.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be a very simplified, cutesy, pretty face.
It's fine. It's nothing too exciting. I guess that's part of the problem that I'm having with it. It's not a bad face. Her makeup is actually a little hilariously done on one eye, and that's because they tried to make eyelashes, which I actually really appreciate because that's really itty-bitty detail. But it went wrong in one eye, so the one eye looks a little bit funky. And she also kind of looks like she's sporting the 90s eyebrow.
Oh, she basically is.
Yeah.
Because consider when this was made, when the one this is based on, so, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, the face isn't a bad face. It really isn't.
Yeah, I think it's actually a fairly nice face.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that might hurt it a little bit is it's got a thick paint job on it, and that kind of pulls away from a lot of the details because it looks like she has some pretty good sharp detail on her face.
Yeah.
But diamond statues tend to have like a pretty heavy paint job on them, and so that covers up a lot of the sculpt.
It's weird though, with her face and hair, with the way that it is, for some reason, I don't think of Supergirl. I'm actually thinking more Alice, as in like Alice in Wonderland.
I guess I could see it. Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with
There's
that hair
something
shape.
about the hair and the face together that's making me think that, which is, I guess, another kind of funky thing.
Nice hair, though. She has a nice head of hair.
She has gorgeous hair.
Good flow to it as well.
I'm not really loving the position of her face. We have it at a lower angle, so it looks almost as though she's looking downward a little bit. If you had it on a higher shelf or something, it would look as though it's level. But because she's breaking through chains, I would kind of want more of the heroic looking a little upward, because that's a big moment. You're breaking out of chains, or you're breaking through chains. That's always a power moment. So don't have the face looking straight ahead or down or a little downward. You want that looking upward and like fierce.
That's something that we've discussed with other female statues before, is the faces, and how, if they're doing something strong, a lot of times the faces don't necessarily match that. It's always about smiling and maintaining the cute or pretty shape of the face.
And I'm just like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I would have minded something a little bit better with the mouth, at least, really. Mouth and eyes would have helped something out.
Yeah. It's kind of bland.
Because it's a very strong, good pose. I mean, let's talk about that pose. It is really good, solid, strong looking pose here. We're getting a lot of good muscle going on here. Again, it's Supergirl, and from that era, she's not really very buff at all.
No, and that's fine. I get it. Quite frankly, she's a very sexy Supergirl, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't want it to be just sexy. I want her power to come through, because quite frankly, powerful sexy is friggin' sexy.
I think we had that discussion with the X-23 statue, in fact, and we had some debate about that as to how sexy that statue was and how powerful it looked. And how elegant it also looked, but did the face match?
Yeah.
That kind of... It's a discussion that's been going on and on with these kinds of things.
Yeah, and it's just, I just want stronger faces. I think that's really what it is. I want stronger faces.
So some pretty great anatomy on this piece, though. I mean, again, it is a super sexified version of Supergirl here, but there's some good-looking anatomy. It's got some solid stuff going on here. I like how, basically... we mentioned how the pose is kind of elongated in some ways. That's why I think it actually benefits from being, if you're going to put it on your shelf somewhere, a little bit higher up.
I'll agree with you on that.
Because that also will actually add, I think, a lot to the strength of the piece. If it's kind of level or flat, you lose a lot of that energy. But when it's higher up, you really feel it, like she's coming at you. And that's actually what she is doing here. And that's amplified by how the shape of the base is here. Like, it's meant to be that she is landing. She just cracked this chain in two, and she's coming down. She's about to kick some butt.
Yeah. Even though, to be honest, I kind of feel like it looks as though she could be coming out of something, or she can, breaking out of something. So some of the energy is kind of pointing upward.
So in terms of the clothes, now they're pretty skin tight, so we don't have too many things to say about them. The one thing I want to mention is basically the folds in her little mini skirt here. I think for the most part, they're pretty realistic, actually, and it's a big contrast to the rest of her body, which is very smooth.
Yes.
And there's some pretty heavy folding going on right in her thigh area.
I appreciate that, because that is something that happens.
Yeah, like it's good bunching. Like it actually adds a lot to the realism of this piece. A piece that otherwise is not very realistic in any way. That's not a negative. It's not at all. It's just,
comic book.
Yeah, it's comic book style. And that is a strong part of it, is that it really does reflect the comic period that it's based on. It really comes through with this piece.
No, absolutely.
Now let's talk about that cape, because that cape is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's got some good folds in it too.
Oh my god, this has really nice flow. I mean, something Diamond's always been really good at is their work on capes.
Yeah, it's a good-looking cape, painted nicely. Another solid entry in their line of capes.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I feel like we should just do a whole video on the capes of Diamond Select.
Yeah, we should. So the base is funky. I don't know how I feel about the base. How do you feel about that base?
I like it in theory. I just don't love it in practicality.
Yeah, it's a little weirdly shaped. Like when we were looking at it too, we were trying to figure out, like, how does it go? Is like this? Is like that? It feels a little bit off balancing, even though it is a very solid, sturdy piece here that does have some good balance to it, weight-wise and just pose-wise. But it's an oddly shaped base, and it's an oddly looking base. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I don't really know what she's doing with it. Her interaction with it is kind of limited.
Yeah, I guess that's part of why you think she's landing. I think she's taking off.
Yeah. There's not much to really cue you in on what she's doing with this base.
Yeah, it's
just there.
It's a really cool base. That's all we can say. Like, it's a really good base.
Great looking fungus. Good old translucent fungus. That's my favorite kind of fungus,
Well, to be honest, given how the back kind of looks as though something could be growing out of there.
Or she could be jumping out of some giant's ear, and that's his earwax stuck to her foot.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I mean, it could be, right? I mean, just
plop.
She was chained up in there. That's the story of this piece, as told by Diamond Select. Supergirl battles the earwax monster. That's the comic that they give you kids to read if you went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. It's like, yeah, here's a book for you to read.
That's what I have to say to that.
So the coolest part about this statue here, though, is that pose, and really it's more or less the upper body part of it, which is her busting free with these chains. Chains look good. They're busted in half.
They are slightly softer plastic, so just be careful with them.
Yeah. There's not, unlike other diamond pieces, there really is no kill point on the statue either.
I know. Yeah. What's up with that? This is possibly our first non-kill.
It's the safest statue they've ever made. I mean, I
guess. Well, there's some kill points on the hair.
Yeah, you got to work for that. I mean, at best, you could gouge somebody's eye with her knee.
Maybe, but that's not sharp.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I mean, that would work though.
With you, I could do. Yeah,
temporarily blind an intruder.
Yeah, but no, there's no like. Oh, here we go. Here's a possible kill point, but no, it's not sharp enough. Nope.
You know, if you're looking to kill your enemies, this is not the best piece for you.
It's a good blunt object, but not sharp.
Yeah, so if you're looking to murder somebody, there's better pieces. Check out our other reviews in our playlist. That's how you do YouTube.
So in terms of the paint application, what are we thinking?
Overall, very good. I think it's very clean. I like the brightness of it. It really, again, a product of its times, because this is the Supergirl based on the mid-2000s. We're still also doing kind of 90s bright coloring at that point, too. And especially with a character like Supergirl, it's pretty poppy.
Yeah.
So I think it accomplishes that. I like it overall. Clean as well, for the most part.
Yeah, I just noticed that there's some chips missing from her collar here. I mean, from her...
Yeah, there's like one little bit from her arm. Luckily, it's the backside.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. I will say this. Okay, so when you're displaying this, you're not going to really notice it. But when I looked at it from the side and then looked at it a little bit closer, I noticed on her back, there are like these 3 dots.
Yeah, I don't think you guys at home can even see it.
Yeah, it's difficult to see. It's just when I looked at it from the side, I was like, oh, hey, what's that? And I was like, oh, let me feel that.
But luckily, you'll never ever see that really if you're displaying it.
Yeah,
so.
it seems like it's just a little bit of glue.
Yeah.
But if you're a stickler, then you might, you might as well know about it.
Now here's the question that everybody wants to know, because Supergirl's wearing this very low-cut skirt, and that's what's going on underneath it.
Yes, because, we are all filthy, filthy beasts. Truth is...
Let's give them the money shot. That's what they came here for.
Yep, she is wearing underwear. I don't know if you can actually see it.
They can't see it off from that angle, but I'll get a photo of it. Not
Of course you
pervy
will.
at all.
Not pervy at all. Now, here's the thing that I'll say about the underwear. I appreciate that they gave her underwear. I mean, 1, she actually does wear it. And 2, it's just a nice thing to, that they did.
Just imagine Supergirl going commando. That would be on the front page of the Daily Planet. Yeah.
That would be one heck of a thing. I'm pretty sure there's some fanfics about that, though.
I'm pretty sure it won't take very long to Google search that.
I don't want to. But I will say this. And again, I'm sure this is because it's more comic book accurate than just my sensibilities. I don't really mind that they make these sexy. I really don't. It's just... These are little things that make it feel like they cared more about it being sexy than it being a superhero or a powerful superhero.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me. I love the sex, the sex appeal of all of the characters. All of them have it. But the point is, I don't like when they seem to focus a little bit more on the sex than the power.
I mean, like I said earlier, we had that discussion with a lot of these other female statues
Yeah.
before, so it's a tough balance because, for the most part, too, a lot of these collectors, at least the collectors that they're targeting, are men who want to have that male gaze version of these characters. Yeah. So, it's a balancing act, and typically they do tend to lean more towards the sexy than they do power.
I know,
so,
and yeah, and I guess in the case of this one, since you have to work to see if she's wearing anything under her skirt, it really wouldn't have been that big a deal to add a little bit of extra paint, because I don't think anyone would have gotten mad about that.
Yeah.
So
there's
that
far sexier things about the piece too than her underwear.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're focusing on her underwear, you're watching the wrong video, folks, and you're buying the wrong stuff. But in terms of like her sexiness and her power, it's in the pose, it's in how her body is moving and shaping this. There's a lot of sexiness in the power.
Yeah.
So it's the balancing act that we keep saying, and some pieces do it better than others. I think this one's overall pretty well balanced though for what it is.
I think it's much better balanced than others. Yeah. I will give it that. Like I said, this is a tiny pet peeve. I acknowledge that. I know plenty of you aren't going to care about that, but it's a little thing that's kind of kept me away from wanting to collect more statues.
So that's our look at Diamond Select's DC Gallery PVC diorama of Supergirl, which we believe is based on her mid-2000s appearance. Mm-hmm. Overall, I think it is actually a very strong piece. It's a good Supergirl. I don't own any Supergirls, and I like this one a lot. I'm actually pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, not my favorite, not the worst. It's a good middle-of-the-road kind of thing for me. Definitely a lot of positives. A few drawbacks for me. But, you know what? I think if you're a Supergirl fan and you want this outfit, you want this pose, get her.
So I'd say it's a recommend?
Yeah, I'd say it's a recommend. It's a recommend.
So I'm Matthew.
I'm Andrea.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this Supergirl statue, you can own it yourself by using our Amazon affiliate links in the description below. Helps us out and costs you nothing extra.
Yep, and what do you think? And tell us what you think about her. Sound off in the comments.
So we'll see you guys next time with some more statue reviews here on Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and be safe.